Okay, next question says, find the greatest common factor and the least common multiple. So, the words will be this: find GCF for greatest common factor and LCM for least common multiple of 100, 120, and 90. I make a little chart because we need to do the prime factorization of each one of these numbers first before we find the GCF and the LCM. Okay? And so I make a little chart to find the answer. And I have a shortcut code for these, GCF and LCM. And the shortcut code for GCF is low power common factors. Common factors. LCM, all factors, high power. And that's the factors of the prime factorization. So, let's do the 100. It's quickly 10 times 10, but those aren't prime. How about 2 times 5 times 2 times 5? How about 2 squared times 5 squared? So, there's my prime factorization of 100. How about 120? You can factor it however you want to get started. I'm going to do 12 times 10. That's 2 times 6 times 2 times 5. Oh, the 6 isn't prime, so that one's got to be a 2 times 3. So my prime factorization is 2 to the third times 3 times 5. And I underline it. All right, 90. Quick one is 9 times 10, which is 3 times 3 times 2 times 5. Prime factorization, I've got 1, 2. 3 squared, and a 5. All right, there we go. So, let's do the GCF. And what's my shortcut code? Low power of common factors. So first of all, I have to find out what's common. Do they all have a 2? Yep. All right, so what's the lowest power I see? 2 squared, 2 third, or 2? It's 2. All right. Do they all have a 5? Yep, what's the low power of a 5? 5 squared or 5? I use the 5. A 3, do they all have a 3? Nope, can't use it. Low power, common factors. Common factors is key here. So the GCF is 10. All right, now think about the next one. LCM. What's the shortcut rule? All factors, high power. So, I have to use a 2. Should I use 2 squared, 2 third, or 2? High power, you know that means 2 to the third. Okay? 3, I have to use all the factors, so there's a 3. Should I use 3 to the 1 or 3 squared? High power, 3 squared. All right, the 5. 5 or 5 squared? Hope you said 5 squared. So 2 to the third is 8 times 3 squared is 9 times 5 squared is 25. Now, let's multiply that quickly in our heads. You know, if you want, you have a calculator, but you know 8 times 25 is pretty quick, right? Because 4 25s is 100. So that's 200. 2 times 9 is 18, right? See how you can do that in your head? No calculator, 1800. Think about shortcuts like that before you jump to using your calculator. It's going to make your brain exercise a little bit better, and you'll be quicker on things like the SAT if you can do stuff like that. Your choice. That's it. Okay, this next section is using prime factorization. And you've done this before, finding the factor tree. So, let's take 924. If I take 924 and I divide it by 2, what do I get? 2 times 4, 26. Divide that by 2 again. What do you get? 2 times 2, 31. Oh, 2's not going to work. How do I know that? The end is an odd number. Well, let's try 3. 3 doesn't work, I'm going to try 5. 3 times 77. You think 3 is going to go into that? No. What's a quick thing? How about 7 times 11? And then that's prime, 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 prime. Okay, so the prime factorization of 924, these are the numbers. Here's how to write the answer. Since there's 2 2's, I write 2 squared times 3 times 7 times 11. That's prime factorization of 924. Okay, I wanted to do one more example of GCF and LCM with variables. So again, I make my 3-part chart. 32 x cubed y cubed, 120 xy to the 4th, and 42 x squared y to the 3rd. And then write the prime factors. 32 is 2 to the 5th times x to the 3rd, y to the 3rd. 120, start off with 10 times 12, 2 times 5, 2 times 6, which is 2 times 2 times 3, times x times y to the 4th, so I have 2 to the 3rd, times 3, times 5, times x, times y to the 4th, all the factors. The factors 42, 6 times 7, how about 2 times 3 times 7, times x squared times y third. There we go. Okay, great. GCF, following the rules. Common factors, so what's common? They all have a 2 and low power, so 2 to the 5th, 2 to the 3rd, or 2. Plain old 2, all right? Next common factor, do they all have a 3? Nope. Do they all have an x? Oh yeah. So which power do I use? X third, x squared, just plain x. Just plain x. All right, y, 3rd, 4th, and 3rd. Which power do I use? Y to the 3rd. That's the lowest one I see. So the GCF is 2x, y to the 3rd. Okay, LCM. All factors. So I need a 2, a 3, a 5, and a 7. I need the highest power on each. So I see the high power for 2 is to the 5th. For 3 is just a 1. For 5 is just a 1. For 7 is a 1. And then I have x. Whoops. I have x to the 3rd. It's a high power. And y to the 4th. And again, just multiply that out. That's 32 times 15 times 7. And when you multiply all of that out, you get 3360. 3360. X third, y 4th. And I got all the variables and all the numbers, right? There we go.